everyone, we are Group 15. We are going to introduce is do people trust the media frequently consumed? Then here are our team's members. We divide it into 5 steps. The first step is researcher question and motivation. The second step is data description. The third step is statistical method. The fourth step is summary of result. The fifth step is conclusion and retraction. We have observed that the majority of the public tend to have our fixed media outlet and news sources that they consider more credible, which lead to their ideology being influenced by specific media, gradually leading them to perceive it as more trustworthy. We hope to examine source regression analysis, whether there is a positive relationship between reading frequency and credibility, and to first understand students' media literacy scale and the role of media influence in modern society.
This part is data description and the method we use. Our data source is self-conducted surveys. We designed a questionnaire asking respondents to list 3 media outlets they frequently read and the 3 they consider the most credible. And our sample size is 130 people. The majority is students. And there are 2 main variables in our data, reading frequency and credibility of media. And the method we use is linear regression analysis. And the reason why we use this method is because we want to know whether there is a linear relationship between reading frequency and credibility. And we also use scatter plot to show the distribution and the linear relationship in our data. And the details will be talked about later.
We use a 4-step method to investigate whether the frequency of media consumption can predict the perceived credibility of a media outlet. First one, say, the null hypothesis states that there is no linear relationship between frequency and credibility. The alternative hypothesis states that there is a positive linear relationship between the two. Next, we follow 5 major stages in our plan. First, linearity. The scalar plot shows a positive linear relationship with strong correlation and no others. This suggests that media with higher consumption frequency tend to be perceived as more credible. Second, independence. The sample size is 130, which is less than 10% of the total media consumer population. So independence is assumed to hold. Third, random. The data was collected using a simple random sample, which will ensure that the sample is representative and unbiased. 4. Variance. Looking at the residual plot, the spread of residuals seen considered across the range, supporting the assumption of equal variance.
That is the part where we check for normality. The part on the left is histogram on residual, and it shows no outliers. And for equal standard deviation, we create a residual plot for all media, and it shows no strong pattern or thickness. Next, for the do part, we use the test statistic to determine whether we have sufficient evidence to assess the truth of hypothesis. So using the formula for B1, we calculate B1 equals to 0.718, and then obtain B0 equals to 3.346. Therefore, our regression equation is reading frequency equals 0.718 times credibility plus 3.346. Then with a degree of freedom equals to 26, and a standard error of the slope equals to 0.166, we calculate t equals to 4.321 and get a p-value equals to 0.00022. So based on the graph, we can see that since the p-value is less than the significant level alpha equals to 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. So there is a sufficient evidence to support that there is a linear relationship between reading frequency and media credibility.
In conclusion, our analysis show that people are more likely to keep watching or reading media they already trust. However, this can be a risky cycle. If people trust a source too much, they may start checking whether the information is true. Over time, they may believe everything from their source without thinking for themselves. This is why media literacy is so important. People need to learn how to question what they see, compare different sources, and avoid being misled by false or one-sided message. And there are a few limitations to our study. First, we treated all response equally. We counted first, second, and third choices the same, but in reality, people may choose or consume their top choice more than the others. Second, we did not include other factors that may affect media usage, such as entertainment value, personal habit, or political preference. This could also play a role but were not mentioned in this analysis. The above is our report. Thank you, everyone.